Hello, book lovers. Welcome to Must Love Books. Hello, and welcome back to Must Love Books podcast. Today, I am here with a special episode for my birthday featuring author Jayci Lee. Hi, Jayci. How are you?
Hi, Crystal. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So, we are here to talk about two new releases for you this year, which is super exciting. We have Give Me a Reason, which came out July 29th, and King Foretold, which just released on August 26th.
Thank you. It is exciting. It's been a hectic month, and I'm not done with my tour, so it just keeps going.
Yes, we are recording in between tour events, so thank you for making some time for me.
It's my pleasure.
Let's start off focusing on Give Me a Reason. And why don't you tell my listeners all about it?
So, Give Me a Reason in a nutshell is a modern persuasion retelling. Frederick is a firefighter. He's a captain, like Captain Wentworth in Persuasion was. He's Captain Nam. And Anne is a K-drama actress who has returned home and is recuperating from 10 years of being a famous K-drama actress in Korea. And unexpectedly, they turn out to be members of the same wedding party. So it's unavoidable that these two star-crossed lovers meet again and realize that they never really stop loving each other. This book is full of so much yearning. It's like a separate character. I make Frederick suffer on page. That was my primary goal for writing the retelling for Persuasion.
I am a personal fan of Jane Austen retellings set in modern day eras. I've probably read and even in movies watched so many retellings of Pride and Prejudice. But some of Jane Austen's other works, like Persuasion, kind of get left out of the retelling. So I'm super excited for this one. Persuasion, I think, is a very underrated Jane Austen novel. And so I definitely love seeing more highlighting of this work.
I'm really glad it is on my top two Jane Austen books. Persuasion and especially Frederick's letter to Anne at the end just left such an impression. And I kept thinking, I wish I could see into Frederick's head and see what he's thinking and feeling. So I decided to write it.
So many books come out of, well, I wanted to read this and I wanted to know it, so I decided to write it. I
I
love
know.
that.
Yeah, authors are all powerful in that way.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that I especially love is A Man Who Yearns.
Hmm.
And so hearing you describe the yearning as almost a third character of the novel is incredible, amazing. Thank you for writing this for me.
It's all for you, Crystal. It's for your birthday.
Yes, yes. Give Me a Reason is actually confirmed to be my birthday present, so you are all welcome.
Love that.
And then also releasing this year, you have the sequel to Nine-Tailed, which is King Foretold. Let's go ahead and dive into that one as well.
Well, the Realm of Four Kingdoms series starts with Nine-Tailed, and it's about Sunny, foul-mouthed, sword-wielding, snarky, nine-tailed fox spirit known as Kumiho. And she's 132 years old, and she's been roaming the states, living a few years in one city, then moving on because she doesn't age. And all she wants to do is work in dead-end jobs and eat her rare steak and sunny side up eggs and have no ties whatsoever to anyone. But a friend from her past shows up and unwittingly pulls her back into the world of gods that she has been running from. So Ninetale covers how that journey begins, and King Foretold is a continuation of that journey. It starts out in Las Vegas. They go to Monterey, and modern day Korea. So it's set in the real world for a good chunk of the book. But Sunny finds herself transported to the realm of four kingdoms, which is a magical realm that she did not know existed, even though she's a being of magic. And about her discovering whether she's supposed to be the good guy or the bad guy, and whether she cares enough to save the world or not. King Foretold explores that theme more, and she is in the Kingdom of Mountains, one of the four kingdoms, and she is training to be a guardian of the world of gods. And there is a forbidden love aspect plus a love triangle. And I think I could talk about the found family aspect for sure. I introduced some characters in Ninetale, but that friendship, I really delve into that friendship in King Foretold. And it is so heartwarming to see our prickly Sunny slowly letting her guard down and letting these people into her heart. And that was a really exciting and meaningful part to writing King Foretold. And I hope the readers enjoy that. A found family is a fan favorite trope, and I really enjoyed writing it for King Foretold.
Found family is one of my favorite tropes as well. It is just so wholesome and brings just so much love to any kind of story, no matter what the setting or plot is. It just brings just this really authentic love
Mhm,
into the story. And it's something that I always appreciate seeing, especially when there's fantasy elements involved too. Like for me,
mhm.
that's just like my bread and butter.
I like the way you describe the found family trope as authentic because even in real life, I think people don't realize how meaningful friendship is. I think the older you get, you realize, especially female friendship, it's really kind of foundational to your adult life to have people who support you, understand you, and speak your language. Because sometimes you talk to guys and they want to fix things or give you advice. It's not just like the even just the venting aspect alone of having girlfriends to talk to is so special. I always like to talk about female friendship in most of my books, but the found family is more fun because I could have all these quirky different characters of all genders, and it's overcoming all of that and being each other's friends and confidants and family that makes that trope so classic and enduring.
I think there's a lot that we can learn from the found family trope as well, and apply it to, our own communities and our own friendship circles. And, the found family trope really teaches us how to be there for others, whether, you relate to them or have things in common or not. Because found family tropes, you always often have people who are very different from each other coming together for, whether it is a common purpose or just the way life kind of throws people together. And I think that kind of friendship really stands out from our, childhood friendships or even some of the
Mhm,
friendships that we created as adults. Found family just kind of transcends that in a new way and kind of
mhm.
it teaches us to be just more for each other and more to each other.
I always like having a mix of a lot of different personalities that you don't expect to get along. And I throw them together and make them work it out, form bonds that are like so strong and become a source of meaning to Sunny. So
The
it was, oh, you guys have to read it. I'm thinking of a part and I want to cry, but I won't.
You just have to read it and then cry with us later.
And cry you will. I'm sorry in advance. I've gotten like DMs from readers who went, "Why? Why, JC? Why?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I cried
Honestly,
harder than anyone."
that is one of my favorite things to hear about a book that I'm deciding whether or not I want to read it is when readers connect to the author specifically to discuss how it made them cry. It just really goes to show that this book is going to make you feel things.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Even if those things are sad.
Yeah. It's like a safe environment being in a book in a fantasy world. So even grief feels not so cold, but like warmer. And you could really, I think, let yourself go and have a good cry.
I think that's a really great way of putting it too. It creates a safe environment for you to be vulnerable with your
hmm
feelings. I love that.
hmm
That's really great.
I think it's only fair because I have to become very vulnerable when I'm writing my books. I like open up a vein and pour my soul into it, so to speak. So I think for the reader to meet me halfway when they're reading my books is very special, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's a really excellent way of putting that because as the writer, you really are putting a piece of yourself into everything you write and you're sharing it with the world. That is an extremely vulnerable position to put yourself in.
It is. It's terrifying, but every connection that I have made with the reader has made this rather terrifying journey worth it.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about your writing process and your inspiration. So we'll start first with your writing process, and then I want to discuss how did you approach writing these two very different novels, and did your process kind of shift with the novel and the genre you were writing it?
Okay. First, my writing process. I have trademarked the name the cheese roll method. My writing method is very much like a famous UK competition where one small town has the steep green hill that they roll a reel of cheese down to. And then all the contestants, like tens of like 50, 100 people, start rolling down the hill after the cheese. And they just tumble and roll down the hill, and you see them like bouncing up and down. Maybe it's similar to like the Princess Bride scene when Buttercup pushes Wesley down the hill,
Yes,
right?
as you wish.
As you wish. But this hill actually has some jutting rocks and stuff in the UK, so people get hurt.
Oh
And
no.
so my writing process is exactly that. So the cheese roll method, basically, I have a concept, right? A story that I could tell in an elevator pitch, 3 lines. And I figure out the characters. They become living, breathing human beings in my head or mythical creatures. And like I throw my nine-tailed fox down that hill and throw myself off of it and start rolling after it. And that is how I write my books.
Have asked so many different authors about their writing process on this podcast, and that is the first time I have ever gotten a response like that. That is incredible. And also sounds dangerous.
It is. The whole point is it's exhilarating but terrifying. And in some ways, because I don't plot or outline, I have to push myself off the hill. Like every time I open my laptop and look at a blank page and tell my story, only guiding principle for me, the light I chase ahead of me is the roll of cheese. I follow the cheese until the book is finished.
How do you write your book? I follow the cheese.
I follow the cheese. Gosh darn it. That's how it's done.
And as someone who is also just a huge cheese lover in general, like,
Me too.
I love it.
At the end, I get cheese to eat and the book.
Do
So it's
you
like
do you
a
make like
double
little
plus.
cheese plates of snacks for when you're writing?
Not for when I'm writing, but whenever I have an excuse and there's an occasion, I make a charcuterie board and go all out. I graze on that for like the entire evening and work through a bottle of wine.
I am a huge sucker for a good charcuterie board.
Man, it's the best. It's my favorite dinner. It has to be.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Any time of day. They're so versatile, so you can, switch things out as you need to make it best fitting for whatever meal
Mm-hmm.
or snack or
True,
event.
true.
You can't go wrong with a good charcuterie board.
I've made brunch boards before,
Mm,
and those work like chocolate croissant and mini quiche on the side, and it works really well. You're absolutely right.
I love that. I'm like over here drooling.
Apparently, I write a lot about food, and all my books make my readers hungry. That is a running theme for sure.
So what you should do is start including like some charcuterie board tips and recipes at the back of your books, or maybe at the beginning, like, hey, while you're sitting down and reading, here's the snack that you can pair your book with.
My rom-com debut that came out in 2020, A Sweet Mess, has a cookie recipe that my baker friend created just for me for the book. And it has my bulgogi, Korean barbecue recipe at the end as well.
I love that. I want to see more of this. And also, I'm going to buy that book immediately, right now.
Or my newsletter, I try to include recipes, but I promised them that I put like two so far, but I'm gonna do more. It's just I've been very busy writing very many books.
Yes, you have been. And so that brings me to my next question. Did you write both these books that released this year, King Foretold and Give Me a Reason, at the same time?
No, so I could only draft one book at a time, especially when they are completely different subgenres. My tone, my voice is absolutely different. And Give Me a Reason, for example, is dual POV, third person past tense. Nine-Tailed and King Foretold is single POV, first person present tense. The characters' voices, Sunny's voice is very distinct, and I could only write her and this series when I'm completely immersed in the story. I can't go back and forth. I have had to stop drafting a book to edit the other book, jump back and forth, but never at the same time.
Yeah, that was always a question that, like, when I see authors have multiple books releasing in the same year, especially when they're so vastly different from each other, I'm just like, did you just like hop back and forth, like two screens hopping up as you're writing them all? So I do appreciate you answering that, working on one and the other. Which one did you tackle first?
I wrote Nine-Tailed first, and then I wrote Give Me a Reason. And while I was writing Give Me a Reason, I believe I had to edit Nine-Tailed and to switch from my contemporary romance to my romantasy. It took a couple of days for my brain to adjust. And I would just whine to my friends like constantly for 2 days about how I have emotional whiplash and it's so hard. Like, I wish I could just do one book at a time. It's hard. Even the emotions are different, coming from like world-ending stakes to something so nuanced and quiet, like persuasion and second chance and yearning. So it was tricky. Publishing is such a wild profession where authors, I feel, have very little control of how things pan out in terms of like publishing schedule and contracts and stuff like that. So ideally, yes, I would rather not jump from one world to a completely different world. There's a lot of whining involved for sure.
Which just goes to show how much you truly immerse yourself
Mhm.
into your stories and into the world that you're existing in while writing these stories. And I think that really does show, as a reader reading these books, how immersed you are into that setting.
Yay, I'm glad.
Now, how about for doing the press and the marketing for each of these two novels at the same time, basically? How have you been tackling that?
That is a little bit different because ultimately I'm there meeting my readers and being me because these books are different sides of me, but they're both me. So I just talk about them. Plus, the cheese roll method applies to all subgenres that I write. So there's that commonality. And a lot of my readers, I'm surprised, genres and follow me from my contemporary to my romantasy, and I think vice versa. So They are good at shifting from one aspect to the next. So that's been fun.
I love that. And the cheese roll method still applies.
Always.
Now, while you're at your press tour, do you actually just bring the cheese too? Because I feel like
So
that's how book events should be. There should be cheese at all of them. More
at
more
this,
cheese.
more cheese, always. I have a line in one of my books. I think it's the dating there, my second rom-com, where I have a line that says, because cheese. Like, is there anything else to say? But I have a funny story. I was doing an event for Give Me a Reason, and everyone's talking about Nine-Tailed and King Foretold as well. So I start talking about how I write these books and the cheese roll method, which I've like actively talked about this tour because for some reason it doesn't happen all the time, but for almost every single event, I was asked, "What's your writing process?" That doesn't always happen because you go on fun tangents, you're talking about the story. But I think I've spoken about the cheese roll method at like 10 events, which is funny. And at this particular event, one of the readers said, "You should bring cheese next time, sliced cheese, and throw it at us." So just slap cheese onto them. Like they wanted me to bring sliced cheese and slap it onto them. So I'm like, I'm game. And then I'll eat it off of you.
See here, I was thinking just like cheese boards at book events, and your readers are like, no, hit us with the cheese.
Yeah, throw it at us. Let us feel the cheese.
And
Oh,
you
it
know
was
what?
so
It's
funny.
probably a very accurate representation of you writing is everyone getting hit with the cheese. You know what? I support this. I say we should do this and invite me because I'd love to be there for this.
Yes, it'll be something sticky. Like thinly sliced brie will stick well.
Yes. Oh, Bria's can get so sticky. That would be perfect.
And like a softened Munster cheese, like that will
Mmm.
stick.
Yeah.
Not like
Havarti.
I've put a lot of thought into what cheese sticks well to human skin, right?
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't
not a
thought about it much at
weirdo.
all.
No.
That's fantastic. Yes, I'm here for it. Let's have more books and cheese events, whether the cheese is
Yes.
on a plate or flying through the air, either is obviously an option.
Yes, definitely. Anything could go at a Jayci Lee event.
Coming up for your next novel.
Yeah.
We'll plan it for your upcoming tour.
Yes, for sure. Next year.
Which brings me to my next question.
Hmm.
What are you working on now?
Oh, I'm working on a secret project that I could say nothing about, absolutely nothing.
I love secret projects.
I could
Stick.
say that it's a slightly different subgenre than I've written so far. That's all I could say.
And
Yet
that I'll
another
take it.
subgenre.
I'll take it. And so is the cheese wheel method here as well?
I'm at the stage where I'm mulling over the characters. So I that's the only constant I really have rolling down the hill. The roll of cheese, it has to be like tightly wrapped so it
So
doesn't
you're
fall
still
apart
wrapping
rolling
the
down the
cheese. You're preparing the
Yes,
cheese and getting ready to
I am
throw it down.
preparing the cheese before I throw it. Definitely.
Excellent. It's such a silly metaphor, but you know what? It actually really explains it very well.
It is so accurate. It is absolutely spot on. It just is how it makes me feel and envision like how it would look like, right? If someone were to describe my writing method. I'm like, that's perfect.
It is
That's
perfect.
it.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm ready for the cheese. Am I gonna go end up having cheese as like my birthday dinner?
Ooh, cheese and wine.
Yes, you can't go wrong with that.
No, there are certain things in life that is always right, and that's bacon and cheese and wine.
Yes. And you know what? There are many times when you can put bacon and cheese together, so you can really
Absolutely.
get all of it.
Yes, yes. Even like a bacon cheeseburger and a glass of good red,
Hmm.
like a full-bodied red, so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot go wrong there. I'm getting hungry.
If if any of my readers have not noticed, which is probably impossible. I love food. I am constantly thinking about food. That's why food ends up in my books. It's not a conscious decision, but it's just part of who I am.
Which really just shows everyone how much of you really is in your writing and in your novels. And I love that.
Yeah. And going off on a slight tangent is, you know how some people leave really harsh book reviews? I do not read book reviews, but what I do know is that if you do not like my book, I know you won't like me. You know, they're like, it's not personal, but it is very personal. If you hate my book, my voice, then you won't like me as a person.
Because you put
It's
so
me.
much of that
Yeah.
into, yeah, because
The
your books
story
are you. They really
Yeah,
are.
the stories are based on imagination, it's fiction, but my voice and whether you walk away happy or pleased with the book or not will be an indication of whether you like me or not, honestly. That's just I've been thinking about that, about how some people are like, don't take it so personally, but I don't think there's any other way.
Yeah, I can definitely, absolutely support that notion.
But either way, I just won't read reviews altogether.
Yes. Like, I don't want to hear that you don't like me.
I know, right? Because it'll make me sad.
Yes.
It's a very sad thing.
So this kind of reminds me of something that I saw you post on Threads very
Hmm.
recently about K-pop Demon Hunters, which I am also obsessed
Woohoo!
with. I've watched it probably like 20 times with my kids. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's so much fun. You shared something in this post that sharing food is like sharing your heart.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, it really brings me to one, the cheese at the book events, but also sharing your book and your writing is also like you sharing your heart with us. And it
Oh,
shows just
absolutely.
how much of yourself is in your books and how much of your books are a part of you.
It is. Absolutely. Vice versa, just as you said it.
And also just an excuse to bring up K-pop Demon Hunters.
I know. It's been so much fun.
It has
And,
been.
I kept thinking it's just me. So I started out my post with like, nobody. What kind of demon is Chinu? And then I'm like, me. And I explained it, thinking like no one really cared. But the post started exploding for me. Like, I'm not used to having like hundreds of thousands of views. So I was shocked, but like hugely nerded out and excited about it because I found my people. And now I'm thinking about there are all these really fun, cute fan signs written in Korean and K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm like, I should tell people what those mean because they're so cute. So that might be coming up next on my Threads post.
Yes. And I just want to say, so we did just recently learn that K-pop Demon Hunters has become Netflix's #1 movie in its entire history, which is incredible. And I love to see that.
Oh my gosh, that's mind-boggling. But again, that story is truly told told from the heart. And the cultural representation in there is very authentic. And because so many Korean American creators participated in it, it rings true to my lived experience. And it just touched me in ways that I did not expect a movie to do, right? I didn't know that a movie, animated, supposedly kids movie, could like move me that much. But definitely, I don't think it's just for kids. I feel like the grown-ups appreciate it more, honestly.
Oh yeah, like this is definitely not just because it's kids appropriate does not mean it is a kids movie. Like it's very
Hmm.
appropriate for kids and it's something that I'm glad to see kids are really appreciating, but this is definitely a movie for adults that has a lot for adults to kind of learn from and experience, which I
Hmm.
really, really love.
Yeah, and it's very, very, very exciting to see Korean culture accepted by not just K-pop fans or K-drama fans, but it's really everybody. This
Yes.
transcends age and gender and race, and it's something that's bringing so many people together. So it means a lot to me. And I have been mentioning that Nine-Tailed has so many parallels with K-pop Demon Hunters. I was beside myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Saja boys are actually 저승사자, Grim Reapers, right? I'm like, I have a Grim Reaper in my book. It's like, that's a water demon. I have a water demon in my book. Like, and the different references they make about Korean shamanism, which I explored more in depth in Nine-Tailed. So many things are featured on there, and I feel like people who have K-pop Demon Hunter hangover could definitely receive a lot of solace from Nine-Tailed and King Foretold. And I feel very confident in saying this. I feel like I'm doing a service taking people to my books because this isn't promotion, but I feel like I am helping those who need more K-pop demon hunters, like who need more Korean mythology and romance. So that's kind of where my threads origin story began.
I have seen Nine-Tailed mentioned on so many lists that are like, so you just finished K-pop Demon Hunters, now what kind of lists? And I've seen
That's
Nine-Tailed
good.
on so many of them. And I have to
Really?
say that it is 100% accurate. If you liked K-pop Demon Hunters, whether you just liked it or you're obsessed with it, put yourself on that spectrum wherever you want to be. But after you finish K-pop Demon Hunters, definitely go check out Nine-Tailed.
Thank you. It's like, you're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. I love that. So Nine-Tailed and King Foretold has a third book in the series releasing next year, correct?
Correct. April 14th, 2026, the last book in the trilogy, Light Burned, comes out. And those of you who are crying and mad at me for leaving you hanging in King Foretold, I promise you it will be worth it because as I roll down the hill with Light Burned, you have no idea how many times I said dun 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 after I typed something. I was just like, oh my God, you God. So I discovered so many secrets and answers while writing Light Burn. So you will be rewarded.
I am so excited. I personally am a huge fan of trilogies. It is my favorite like storytelling module, so I'm super
Mm.
pumped for this one. And I think, having it release April 2026, gonna keep saying that for our listeners. You have plenty of time to pick up the first two novels and dive right into this world before the third one releases. So if you start reading them now, you'll be like at the perfect timing to celebrate the third novel with some cheese.
With some cheese. Oh my gosh, I worked so hard to be able to bring Lightburn to my readers in less than a year. It tried to kill me at different points in the book. Like the jutting rock, I would like bump into it. I had to get stitches. But I did it. I wanted you guys to have that because I know it was very naughty of me to leave you guys hanging like that with King Foretold. So I, just busted my tail to bring you Lightburn as quickly as possible.
And for that, I am personally very appreciative.
You're very welcome.
And I'm ready for the cheese at the parties.
Yeah, bring the cheese.
Just start throwing out the cheese.
Yeah. I just hear like slapping onto people. Like
I have actually been hit in the face with a piece of cheese before, so I don't
oh.
even have to imagine it. Like, I know what it feels like.
What does it feel like? Is it wonderful?
You know what? It's actually not that bad.
And then you get to eat it just by rolling it off.
Yes, then it's like already there and ready. Like it's already so close to your mouth. You can just
Yeah, it's perfect.
grab it and
It's very
shove it in.
convenient.
Yes. All right. Well, JC, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Must Love Books podcast. It has been such a delight talking about King First Told and Give Me a Reason and celebrating my own birthday with you a little bit here.
I had a lot of fun, obviously. People might be like, oh my gosh, she's laughing so much. She must have had some wine. But I swear I'm sober.
I know I never actually drink wine when I record my podcast. That's not true. I do during the book club ones. I'm already not accurate here. But you know what? Sometimes it feels like I am because I just had such a fantastic time.
It's Must Love Books. It's just, I don't know. I think the name says it all. Where two book lovers sit and talk about, like, I was going to say food. There's food and books. Uh, Nothing makes me happier. And I had a fantastic time.
Yes, join us for the follow-up podcast, Must Love Cheese. Thank you everyone for listening. This has been Must Love Books. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon under @Must Love Books Podcast. Thank you and happy reading.